Bunched together with seemingly 100 other Japanese exclusive RPGs comes one that finally stands out from the crowd. That's not a mark on quality. Walk down the street naked and you'll stand out, so don't take the words at face value. Almost to the opposite way that Yuenchi Panic tried to do it, that game was mad as all get out on the surface, but basically paint by numbers when you got down to it. The Legend of Xerd, for all appearances, looks like your super standard adventure RPG, but once you start playing and getting into the story, you'll realize it's a weird old sausage for a different reason. In fact, the game comes across almost as a parody of the genre at times. You don't play as the eponymous Xerd, but in fact a young boy named Jake. Jake's twin brother happens to be the bad guy you're hunting for, and to do this, you need to first find a reincarnation of Xerd himself. You'll soon meet a girl called Mana, who joins you in your quest. A little way down the road, you'll come to the first of many strange towns in the game, whereby the townspeople will proclaim that you have to marry each other, because of some bizarre religious calling they claim to have heard. Even more bizarrely, the couple just go along with it. 5 minutes more down the road, and Mana gives birth to a boy in one of the most transparent nods to Immaculate Conception you've ever seen. The town priest, not the parents by the way, can we just highlight that for a second, names the child Xerd. Because what else, right? Oh, but it gets weirder. They baptize the child in this special fountain that immediately transforms the babe into a fully grown human man, complete with speech and fighting skills, who nonchalantly agrees to join his mum and dad on what has now become a real Swiss Family Robinson adventure. And the game goes on from there. It's not just the storyline, it's the completely blasé manner that these story beats play out. The characters just sort of accept all this cataclysmic stuff that happens to them, almost as if the protagonists know they're just acting out a game. It ain't the end of the world, you know. The more you explore, the more you realize how little of this game actually is generic. At first, you might not appreciate the art style as anything more than your standard, blocky 8-bit adventure RPG, but just look at some of the detail in the enemy pictures and the delicate shadings on the tiles. The music might at first seem like nothing more than a competently composed fantasy world soundtrack, but then you hear the comedic digitized screams when you kill an enemy that are different pitches based on the size of the monster. There's a bunch of peculiar little moments throughout that you'll find if you play the game with an eye for detail, a very comedic approach to the traditional format. I particularly enjoyed the imposter king boss about halfway through. When you manage to depose him, one of the villagers simply remarks, "New king wanted." There is a town called Doctor that is filled with doctors, and one called Magician that is filled with, well, magicians. Xerd no Densetsu is solely a Japanese game, unfortunately, but if you're not bothered about the text, you should be, by the way, that's the maddest part, then it's more than playable anyway, as the traditional attack, magic, item, etc. menu options you'd usually have are replaced by handy little icons of swords, satchels, and so on, which makes me wonder why more games didn't do that. Thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below, and if you can spare a second, give the review a quick thumbs up, it really helps out. Subscribe to the Portable Power podcast for a new Game Boy review every day from Monday to Friday. Or alternately, new episodes of the podcast drop every Saturday and Sunday on whichever platform you get your pods. See you later on.